Yes. Yeah. Okay. Okay, Tula. I love you. Okay. Let's get our coffee ready first. The Mardi Gras parades are tonight. Yes, of course, before Mardi Gras. Fat Tuesday. Oh. And of course, after that, Ash Wednesday to Fat Tuesday. Fat Tuesday is the last party. Then people repent from their sins, apparently. Do they really repent from their sins? Well, people pretend to repent from their sins, I guess. But whatever makes people feel better, I guess. Happy Valentine's Day. We won't be having a Valentine's Day with beer. There's big Texas thunderstorms rolling into the Houston area, so it's going to get pretty crazy with the weather-wise. So, Mardi-Man. Yeah, I tried to use LTX Studio to make Mardi-Man. It'd probably do better on Sora by OpenAI. Yeah, LTX Studio, the Israeli studio, they're okay, but they were kind of behind the times on the. They didn't really have the. Yeah, I guess AI is looking better. It used to, at first when I was on LTX, it was like very, very, very wonky. Like it didn't understand that people don't have like 10 fingers normally unless you're doing like an alien. And so at first the interpretations from the prompts were very slow and they were very inaccurate. We had that Howardy Butts. Howardy Butts. Butts. No, Howardy Butts country style hash browns. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, did my aunt and uncle hit the tequila last night with my mother? Because, well, no, somebody's got to stay sober to take care of my grandmother. So, yeah, maybe. So either mother was over emotional because her mother's dying, or or my grandmother, or our grandmother for my three other cousins. So or she had a little, emotional enhancer called alcohol. So that was like the emotional. Because I got a text at like 1 a.m. and it was really emotional, and I was thinking, well, that might be alcohol. I don't know. But, well, am I gonna hit the sauce if my mother's dying? Am I gonna hit the sauce? Am I gonna be like Logan in the? Am I gonna like have the bottle by the gravesite and just be chugging the tequila, cursing at God? I don't know if I'm gonna be like Hugh Jackman from Logan and be cursing at God with the bottle of tequila. Well, my organs don't heal like a mutant, so I probably won't be doing that. I probably won't be chugging the bottle of whiskey but near the headstones of the graveyard. Yeah, probably not. It looks cool in a movie about superheroes, but all right. Hey, you with this? You got circle bone and shit. Yeah, have ourselves a dandy breakfast this morning. I'll tell you what. Oh yeah. We got our coffee over here because our coffee machine died. So I've been using a tea brewer, but it's not as, wonderful as a coffee machine. Oh well. Mr. Coffee died. Yeah. Everything dies. Everything breaks. Ooh. Yeah. And happy Valentines and to everyone. And then happy it's my aunt's birthday too. She turned 61. Highway 61 revisited. Bob Dylan. Have I listened to the whole album? No, I don't think so. But I remember that title though. Highway 61 revisited. Okay. Well, there's no school today, so kids won't have to worry about getting massacred by Asperger's people without girlfriends or something. Or speetards. Speetards, Asperger's, mental patients, or transsexuals, trannies, transgenders, chicks that look like guys, transgenders. I wish I was a woman, but I can't be a woman. Ooh. I think what we're gonna do. Now, sometimes there's a hit song and like people don't care if it's written by a homosexual or aspiring transsexual or something. They just care like the music sounds good, right? Most people just care that music sounds good. So, but in the early 1990s, there was a song that was kind of like testing the limits of that because it sounded great, this electronic dance song on Houston's world famous 104 KRBE. But the lyrics were faggoty as fuck. It was a queer ass song. And but the song sounded great, so you just sort of like turn that song up. It sounds wonderful. So the song was by what was it called, White Town, or something? I think it was called White Town or something like that. And it was like it was about a man trying to be a girl for another man or something, but he was a man. So it was called "I Could Never Be Your Woman." And it was a great song, but it was like obviously a pretty queer song. But like a lot of people didn't care because it sounded cool. Got that bacon and sausage. Ooh. Yeah. Country style hash browns after that. And then some eggs. Excellent. It's 2 eggs, little hash browns, and then the bacon and sausage. We already have D's nuts in the house. We already have the Dunkin'. We are sober because thunderstorms. And I'm going to put a little greenback, Put a little greenback in my... and prepare for President's Day. So... this is not unlike Operation Smorgasbord, where I played the lottery on different days and I saved up a lot of money and then I won $350. Operation Smorgasbord, that was really good. That was a good lucky. Did I spend it on booze and drugs immediately when I got it? No, I paid the bills or help pay a bill or something. So, responsibleness. What about that? Responsibleness. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but it could work sometimes in the right context, the right situation. I just like the operation names, like in World War II. Operation Smorgasbord. I always wanted to call an operation that. Maybe we'll have Operation Bonanza one day. As long as it's an operation, then we'll have Operation President's Day or Operation Presidents for Monday. Yeah. Hope everybody enjoys Valentines or Valentimes Day. Since we live in a swamp. Valentimes Day. Will we have lightning? Will we have hail? Will we have flooding? Will we have tornadoes? We'll see. Will it knock out the power with the wind? The wind's supposed to be really heavy. What's one of the funniest things when the power goes out in Houston? It's funny, like, well, most of the kids are in town because of this is the winter break in North Houston for most. So kids, you know, without their streaming devices, without their social media, aren't they going to go kind of nuts if they don't have their video games? So it'd be funny, like a whole bunch of kids torturing their parents. Oh my God, I don't have my video game. Jumping around, fidgeting around. So maybe that would be entertaining. I mean, you know, I'm not going to be in everybody's house, but I'm sure the experience is the exciting part. That to know that it's happening. Will the power go out? You've got no power. See people try to like flee to relatives or friends' house. Hey, we have no power. Can we come over to your place? Yeah, that's funny. Like a bunch of people that have a bunch of relatives, they might like when one grid or something or one part goes down, maybe they call their relatives like, hey, can we come stay at your place? Yeah, our power's out. Maybe they try to coordinate it, you know? Sometimes, not all the time. Depends on how bad the weather is, right? People try to coordinate how they're going to get the power. And then some people, they do like, they have a generator, or they already have their generator, they start it up. And then so they're like, hey, I have a generator. And you hear that, like, I'm the cool guy. I thought ahead. I'm on top of things. Wow. I'm the coolest motherfucker in the neighborhood. I've got a generator. I'm a prepared man. Love that. Yes. Well, I hope it's not too bad tonight. That's pretty good right there? Yeah, I think that will be adequate. There's too much like bacon grease on here, maybe. Maybe. Maybe that's a little bit too much. It's gotta put some more butter in the pan. A little bit of bacon grease, not like a whole buttload. I've had time of my pipe. What's the best thing about the sobriety wake up? Well, the best thing about sobriety is like, you know, the mental clarity and focus that it can happen. I know some people don't want to hear that, but maybe. such a great feeling. You know, maybe other people are hungover right now. You know, maybe. And they're like, oh man, I feel like shit, man. I got a headache. And so it's nice to wake up in the morning and be like, I'm ready to face the day. But we may not have that feeling on Fat Tuesday when the time to repent occurs, at least in the Catholic faith. Christian and Catholic faith, I suppose. More of a Catholic deal. It's like the Catholic version of Ramadan, right? Except without the fasting. So the absolute irony of the left and Democrats trying to import Islam into Western civilization is that the left is very pro-homosexual in the LGBTQ community. So the irony is what? The irony is that Islam hates they hate the gay community with a passion, and so they think it's like the biggest sin ever in Islam, in the Muslim world. So that's the irony of the left, is that they want illegal immigration from Islamic and third world African and Middle Eastern countries, but fundamentalist, jihadi, and even normal Islam hates gays. So that's the ironic part. When I see the gays, I just have a laugh. You know, it's the guy playing the dance music and he's fruity and shit, you know. They hired this kind of clueless gay guy at work once, and it was kind of like entertainment. It was like, you know, a funny show. He didn't know what time to show up to work because he didn't really give a fuck. And then so he'd show up and everybody would get pissed. Hey, dude, you're 4 hours late. And he'd go, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, it looks like I looked at the schedule wrong. And I mean, this guy, you know, was really fruity. It was really flaming queer. And then I worked with this Turkish baker, you know, and he's Islamic and does the Ramadan and all the rituals of Islam. And yeah, he was like, who does he think he is? Does he think he's a man? Why do we have this filth here? Like, you know, like some of the guys from, you know, Turkey and Syria and Saudi Arabia over here, Iran, Iraq, etc. When they see the gay people over here, they're like, they're, you know, like the old, like that old tribalism comes out of them, you know, like, because they get angry because there's nothing they can do about gay men and gay people. So they just have to tolerate it, but tolerance wasn't really how they dealt with it in their own countries. That's not how they deal with homosexuality over there. They actually do it through violent activity. Okay, so like if a woman is pretending to be a man in the United States, we just kind of tolerate it. We go, oh, okay. The butch woman comes in and she's got the short haircut. She's pretending to be a dude and like walk around, hey, I'm a dude. I'm the boss, yeah. And people just kind of think it's like a circus sideshow, and we just kind of laugh it off because that's what it is. It's just circus theater. When we see the flaming queer guy, you know, doing his gay dance music and dancing around, we just kind of have a laugh. It's funny. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not, but most of the time, 7 times out of 10, it can be, you know, pretty entertaining, right? Sometimes it's funny. It may not be funny if you're a big, strong man and a butch dyke comes up to you and starts talking shit or something. It may not be funny in a moment like that. Drop one. These bad boys cooking brown for a while. These bad boys, what they gonna do? Woo woo ooh. Okay. So I remember the hot, cute, straight girls in the college would always be laughing at the gay guy because he'd say, "Oh hey, ha ha ha, y'all, ha ha ha," and the girls would be, and usually the gay guy would be saying something silly, or you know, it'd be like comic entertainment. So my professor of psychology would say, so what do American males spend, I don't know, $3 million per year on? And then the gay guy said, porn. And everybody in the class started laughing. No, he said, I'm sorry. He said, Crown Royal. And then everybody goes, ha 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 ha. And then he goes, no, porn. And, you know, like in a serious voice. That men spent all this money on porn. But you know, the gay guy, the token gay guy in my psychology class was trying to entertain all the girls and everybody in the class by doing the class clown thing. You know, say the wrong answer that the teacher asked. That whole routine. But Crown Royal, that was funny. What do American males spend $3 million on per year? Crown Royal, ha ha. You know, I was laughing too. It was fun. Okay, these bad boys on. Little scrambled eggs for the dogs. Yeah. Okay. Gonna have some good breakfasty, huh? Yeah, y'all lovies. Maybe put a little pepper on my hash browns. Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Ooh. Yeah, Valentines. Yeah. Put the hash browns in here. I got it planned out what I'm going to do in my brain what the master plan is. Okay. I didn't know what the master plan is. Ooh. Because your favorite band ever is Masterbeat. Masterbeat. Hell yeah. One of my favorite groups. Huh. One of my favorite groups is Rosie Palms and her five sisters. Is that what it's called? Wait a minute, man. Rosie and her five sisters. There you go. I think it's called Rosie Palms and her five sisters. It's the joke on that. So when they do this like queers for Islam bullshit, or queers free Palestine, it's just like kind of a joke because most countries in the Middle East hate LGBTQ. They hate gay people with a passion. So. Let's do it. Getting close to Nancy Guthrie. Yeah, they arrested 3 people. Wow, they're getting close. Getting close. Getting close. Getting close. Getting close. But I don't need no toast. Getting close. But I don't need no toast. Getting close. But today there's not gonna be any toast. That's good. All right. Here we go. And we're going to all right. Put the bacon on top of the hash browns. Do some cut the sausage. We got the hash browns, the be no toast. Vanilla Ice comes out. Oh, I know my song it went back up to #1. Vanilla Ice. Oh, my song from 36 years ago went to #1. No, dog. You took from Queen's Hot Space in 1982. Vanilla Ice, Rob Van Winkle, and his crew took the 1982 Hot Space massive hit Under Pressure by David Bowie and Queen and Freddie Mercury and stole the fucking beat from the bass player. You know, John Deacon, was it? Is it Roger Taylor and John Deacon? The percussion, the rhythm section, as it were. Yeah. And then you just rapped over it because it was like, he was probably like the best guy. He was probably like the best guy, like that was trying to transition, like in a time where people thought, oh, white rappers, and it would offend black people and it would offend, society. Like he was the one that was encouraged by probably other black people, like, let's make a lot of money, dude. You got the perfect dance moves, you got the perfect flows, like you got the perfect fade, like it's time. Like, they found that beat and they rapped on it. I mean, I don't know if that was genius to just copy the beat and just rap on it, but with Vanilla Ice and make Vanilla Ice and this character and stuff. I mean, I guess that was the creative part, but actually, most of the work was done by Under Pressure itself, so by Queen and David Bowie themselves. So, which is why Rob Van Winkle and his crew didn't quite get away with it. They had to pay royalties to Queen and the songwriters. So he didn't quite go laughing all the way to the bank without the copyright people coming up saying, hey, you ripped us off. Yeah, you're making millions of dollars. That's cool, but we want our big chunk. Haha. Boom, 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 boom. And they have the funny Rob Van Winkle interview where he goes, no, I'm not. My beat's different. It's bum, 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 ba da dum, dum, dum. And then the originals dun 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 dun, but mine is dun 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 dun. That's like one of the funniest YouTube videos about music copyright. Yeah. So, Rob Van Winkle, when John Deacon or some of the Queen members, all of them start dying off because of old age and so on, you might see his royalty check tick up because everybody's dead, who was involved in that Hot Space album. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't, unless the greedy corporate, music, the greedy corporate company still takes their skim off the top of his Ice Ice Baby profits. I don't think all the credits probably go to Rob Van Winkle himself. It's probably the producers and the arrangers and everything. The quote unquote songwriters. I say that in big quotation, songwriters. When he took somebody else's shit and just copied and pasted in the computer studio. But that's why I say songwriting with a grain of salt. Well, or a whole thing of salt. Now, is there anything wrong with making songs out of other people's songs? Well, people do that all the time, especially now. I think if you don't give credit to the songwriters and the original singers, and they don't get a cut of your profits, I think that's wrong. Sure. If you get permission and you pay the artist royalties, the original artist, the original songwriters and producers, then hey, I think it's okay as long as they get their cut. Otherwise, it's stealing. Yeah. I know people stopped giving a fuck about musical originality and creativity long time ago. As soon as computers and samplers and shit auto tune and all that stuff came about, and now you got AI. And now people really don't give a shit. It's all about getting that fucking big load of paper. It's all about getting money and power. It's not about musical authenticity, integrity, creativity. It used to be about those things, but not anymore. It hasn't. I don't think it's been about that for a long time. So if anybody could use a computer and do all the music for them and just make some shit, then that's what people are gonna do. They'll try to become stars at 18 instead of getting a job. Because if you got a real job, what, you'd just be a wage slave or something? So you'd be working for somebody else. So that's not very attractive to most people. Because that's just like wage slavery. Yeah. Oh. Now imagine there's like a 60-year-old Vanilla Ice, and let's say there's like a big winter storms hitting America, and all of a sudden on the Spotify charts, Ice Ice Baby goes all the way up to #1 again. Then a lot of the Queen members are dead, and let's say the company doesn't own the full rights and can't impose a royalty charge because the original songwriters and producers are dead under pressure. And then like his homeboy rolls in his garage with all his cars, and he's like, "Hey, yo, Ice, yo, Rob, man." It's like, "What's up? I'm working on my Porsche." "Hey, man, guess what? Ice Ice Baby back on #1." And then he opens, "Check out this check, bro." He's like, "Oh shit, it's 40% more. Damn, I'm still rolling in it from 1990. Ice Ice Baby, boom boom boom, boom boom, do 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 do. And he's still rocking that like. That's funny, man. I can imagine that happen. Vanilla Rob Van Winkle, 70 years old, gets the check in the mail. Oh man, these nuts. Goodwill Duncan. Yeah, I've never been a really wealthy alcoholic, but like Ben Affleck. I mean, if you're like a wealthy, multi-million-dollar alcoholic, I mean, that guy was ordering like the finest whiskey, that huge box, 5, 6 different whiskeys, like shit this tall. I mean, he was getting fucked up. Man. But, I mean, destroying his liver faster, dying faster, but man, those wealthy alcoholics can really lose their liver, and maybe they could pay for the transplant if things really go south. But man, I'm glad Ben got sober though. time. All right, second egg. Boom. Excellent. Dun, dun, dun. Do, do, do. Put some pepper. So the eggs are gonna flow into the dish. Okay, put a little bit of that ranch dressing on. Just a little drizzle. Booyah. Happy Mardi Gras and Valentine's Day. Yo, peace. God bless.